In the heart of Rajpur, a city painted with hues of tradition and faith, lived a woman whose kindness was whispered about in every narrow alley and bustling market street. Dr. Ananya Verma, a name spoken with reverence, not just for her skill, as a cardiologist, but for the generous spirit that filled her soul. She was the kind of person whose beauty went beyond skin deep, etched into every act of compassion she offered, especially toward those whom life had forgotten. Every morning, like clockwork, Ananya would make her way to the old Shankar temple, its ancient stone walls echoing with chants and ringing bells. At exactly 7, she'd arrive, carrying a quiet grief beneath her steady gaze, a grief she buried behind calm eyes since the day her husband, Arjun, vanished from her life 2 years ago. 2 years since the accident that took him away, or so everyone believed. But Ananya carried more than sorrow. She carried a promise to never turn away those in need. If a poor person asks me for help, she had once declared to her neighbors, I will never say no. And so, every day, at the temple's entrance, sat a beggar, his face shadowed by dirt, clothes hanging in tatters, eyes deep with unspoken stories. He never spoke. He never looked up. He simply folded his hands in silent plea. Yet, to Ananya, he was more than just a face in the crowd. One day, under a sky bruised with dark clouds, the routine broke. After her prayers, when she reached into her purse to drop a few coins into the beggar's outstretched hand, he spoke, not a request for alms, a question. Madam, will you marry me? Ananya stopped dead. The world seemed to hold its breath. Who was this man? Was this madness? A cruel joke? Her lips curled in a bitter laugh. You say the strangest things, she said softly. Here, take this money and find shelter from the rain. But this time, he didn't take the coins. Instead, he stared into her eyes as if searching for something buried deep inside her soul. No words followed, only a silent bow, a nod heavy with meaning. That night, the question lingered in her mind like a shadow that wouldn't fade. Was he just a beggar, or something else? Why do his eyes remind me of Arjun? Could it really be him? Ananya shook her head. No, she told herself. She must not let grief play tricks. He's just a man begging for help, nothing more. But the next morning, when she approached, him again, the beggar declined her money. Instead, he whispered, Give me a chance to do something for you. Annoyed, Ananya replied sharply, Just because I help you doesn't mean you can say anything. Know your place. Yet, in his quiet voice, a strange determination echoed. I know you think I'm mad, but listen, I can give you something no one else can. Her curiosity piqued. What? She asked, the hospital and its endless demands momentarily forgotten. A drug trafficking gang. I know where they operate. I can tell you everything. Ananya's breath caught. A beggar? A silent shadow of the streets? How could he know such things? But a doctor's mind does not dismiss possibilities. If he spoke truth, this could change everything. The beggar's secret had just begun to unravel. The next day, Ananya couldn't shake the beggar's words. A drug trafficking gang operating in Rajpur. If true, this was more than a whisper in the wind. Her instincts, sharpened by years in medicine, told her this was a call to action. She decided to share her strange encounter with Inspector Ravi, a gruff but honest cop who had worked with her hospital on community safety programs. Ananya laid out the facts, the beggar's name, Samar, and his cryptic warnings. Ravi furrowed his brow. Beggar or not, if there's a gang active nearby, it's our job to find them. Together, they started digging. Days passed. Surveillance footage showed Samar frequenting the warehouse district. Ananya and Ravi followed leads, piecing together whispers of a shadowy syndicate moving pharmaceuticals illegally. One chilly evening, Ananya found herself standing outside an abandoned warehouse, heart pounding. The place reeked of smoke and secrets. Suddenly, she spotted a torn photo pinned to a bulletin board inside. Arjun's face stared back at her, her breath caught. "Impossible," she whispered. A voice behind her startled her. Ananya. She spun around to see Samar, no longer the ragged beggar, but a man with fire in his eyes. "I told you the truth," he said. He revealed that he was Arjun's close friend, and that Arjun's disappearance was no accident. They sat beneath flickering lights as Samar told the story. Arjun had uncovered the syndicate's dark dealings at the pharma company he worked for. Threatened and silenced, Arjun faked his death to protect Ananya and gather evidence from the shadows. "Why didn't you tell me?" Ananya asked, tears burning her eyes. "I had to keep you safe," Samar whispered. The door crashed open. Masked men in black gear stormed in. "Run!" Samar shouted, grabbing Ananya's hand. They dashed into the night, the warehouse disappearing behind them in flames, set ablaze to bury the truth. Out of breath, they stopped beneath the neon glow of a street lamp. "Ananya," Samar gasped. "They'll come after us both." Her world had shifted. No longer a grieving widow, but a woman with a mission. Unravel the conspiracy, find Arjun, and bring justice to light. Ananya's heart hardened like steel. The beggar was no longer a beggar. He was her key. Rain hammered down on Rajpur's streets, mirroring the storm raging inside Ananya's heart. Her safe life was gone. She was now a fugitive, running alongside Samar, chasing shadows and danger. Samar led her through a maze of back alleys and abandoned shops. "We have to find the evidence." "Arjun gathered," he said, voice urgent. "Without it, the syndicate will bury us both." Inside a cramped, dim room, Samar pulled out a battered notebook. This was Arjun's journal. It has names, dates, shipments. Ananya's fingers trembled as she flipped through pages scrawled with warnings and code names. Suddenly, the room door burst open. Masked thugs barged in, guns raised. "Run!" Samar shouted, pushing Ananya toward a narrow back exit. Bullets shattered glass behind them as they raced into the storm. They ducked into a subway tunnel, the echo of their pursuers close behind. Ananya's mind raced. How could Arjun risk so much alone? Could she trust Samar, the man who had lied to her? Safe for the moment, Samar pulled her close. "Arjun's alive," he said fiercely. "He's working with a few brave cops inside the force to expose the syndicate." Ananya's resolve hardened. "I want in." Together, they contacted Inspector Ravi. Plans were made. Ananya prepared to infiltrate the pharma company, posing as a researcher to access hidden files. That night, under the cover of darkness, Ananya slipped into the facility. Every shadow was a threat, every whisper a secret. But the truth was within reach. She found Arjun's encrypted files, proof of illegal drug shipments, money laundering, and corruption reaching to the highest levels. A gasp escaped her lips. This evidence could bring the syndicate down. Footsteps approached. Her heart froze. "Ananya?" Arjun's voice, weak but alive. Tears and relief collided. He was real, and together they would finish what they started. With Arjun's files in hand and a fragile alliance forged, Ananya, Samar, and Inspector Ravi planned their move. Tonight, the syndicate's empire would be exposed. Ananya's heart pounded as they infiltrated the syndicate's hidden warehouse. Boxes, stacked high, guarded by armed men, a fortress of corruption. Ravi's voice crackled softly in their earpieces. "Stay sharp. Evidence and lives depend on this." The raid erupted into chaos. Gunfire echoed. Ananya dodged behind crates, clutching the files. Samar covered her, firing back at the attackers. In the chaos, Ananya spotted the syndicate's leader, a cold, ruthless man with a scar across his face. Their eyes locked. No words, only the fight for justice. Samar tackled the leader, wresting a gun away. Ananya rushed to secure the files, sending a signal to the police outside. Reinforcements flooded in, arresting the syndicate members. Justice prevailed, but scars remained. Arjun, freed from hiding, vowed to rebuild. Samar and Ananya looked toward a future, uncertain, but free. Ananya whispered, "This is just the beginning." Samar smiled. "Together we'll make sure it never happens again."